Our big focus this hour, security agencies have halted a Pakistan-bound ship at Mumbai's Nhava port over suspected nuclear cargo. India has cited dual-use implications for Pakistan's nuclear and ballistic missile programs as the primary reason to halt the ship that was en route to Karachi from China. Apart from stopping the ship, agencies have also seized a 22,000-kilogram consignment. A computer numerical control machine has been recovered, and upon examining this, a DRDO team has confirmed the potential use for Pak's nuclear program. Additionally, investigation has also revealed discrepancies in the shipping details. Despite this, Pakistan has denied all reports and slammed India over the ship being halted. In an official response, Pakistan maintains that this is a case of import of a commercial machine by a commercial entity that supplies parts to the automobile industry. China too has issued a response claiming that it has been strictly fulfilling international non-proliferation obligations and that the material is not a piece of military equipment or a dual-use item. Now, as Pakistan and China both deny the exchange of nuclear cargo despite a CNC machine being found, the larger question we're asking is whether China is helping Pakistan build missiles and expand its nuclear arsenal. Joining us live at this point is Ambassador Bhashwati Mukherjee, former diplomat. We also have Major General Dhruv Katoch, Director India Foundation, live with us. Group Captain V.N. Jha, former Joint Director DRDO, joins us live. Also with us is Pathikrit Pain, International Affairs expert. Let me begin with you first, Ambassador Mukherjee. What do you make of this shocking recovery of this equipment on board this Pakistani ship?
Well, Uday, there's nothing surprising. China has been helping Pakistan for decades in this surreptitious manner, both China and North Korea also. In this particular case, what is interesting is that they seem to be doing it in a much more bold and open manner. If they are actually exporting dual-use technology, which is strictly forbidden in this manner to Pakistan. And the amazing thing is, Uday, that they thought that they could get away with it. I'm very happy that our agencies have been vigilant and have been able to catch and expose this kind of trade transfer, and particularly at a time when Pakistan is politically weakened, fragmented, economically shattered, and in a situation where nobody is fully sure as to who has full control of Pakistan's nuclear weapons, particularly if the country disintegrates and falls apart. If the Chinese consider themselves to be a responsible, permanent member of the Security Council, as they say they are, they should think 100 times before sending such dual-use technology to a country that is disintegrating rapidly and is in risk of becoming a rump state with 3 or 4 states next to it. So, I mean, this is of grave concern to the world. It should be of grave concern to China, and it is naturally of extremely grave concern to India. In my perspective, we should take it up in the UN Security Council, and we should take it up strongly with the Chinese bilaterally and with our Quad member countries and with the United States. This is too serious a matter to be ignored because it comes with the threat of use of nuclear weapons, not by a state, but by jihadis and by those who have absolutely no control of international law looming over there.
All right. Let me, in fact, take that to Group Captain Jha as well. Group Captain Jha, just tell us a bit more about this machine, about this equipment that has been, found on board this vessel, what it's actually meant for, and how Pakistan's denial is, completely false.
Thank you, Dev. I'm not very surprised what just now Ambassador Mukherjee had said. It's a bit of surprising. I was not surprised when I got this first news that so-and-so equipment has been detected on board. But the type of explanation that came, that surprised me more. When they said that it is meant for automobile, no sir, it is not meant for automobile. Automobile usually have that everything die cast, most of the things, and which is cast in a die and then used there in the automobile factories. CNC machine is something that even our laboratory had it. Whenever you want to make one piece, 2 piece, 3 piece equipment of a very high precision cut, it could be any of the metals. That is where you need the CNC machine, where the cutting is very, very intricate. That is where you need this. And for those type of things are the things which usually we employ in the R&D. But when you need the components, something like in the ballistic missile or some other components of a missile technologies, that is where such high caliber, high performance, high precision CNC machine is required. So CNC machine, before the explanation came from Pakistan, I had a thought that possibly it may be for the industrial use. It is often used in the industry. Nothing very suspicious about it. But when the explanation came that it is for the automobile, that is what alarmed me, that it may not be for the automobile use. Another equipment, that high performance autoclave is a suspicious body. That sort of autoclave you don't see in the industry. It is mostly used in achieving very high perfections of metallurgic compositions, or when you mold, melt something or bend something, that is where such high caliber of the autoclaving is required. So I have very high suspicions, but these are the dual technology machines. It could be used in the industry as well. It could be used in the prohibited uses also, like nuclear uses. That is where even if we go to Security Council, it may not withstand the type of scrutiny that Security Council usually had, because unless you prove it absolutely, without any fault, that this machine is used for this nuclear, proliferation, you cannot hold any country liable. So Security Council, we may not be able to justify fully, but yes, it is for the Quad nation or all the nations which are alarmed by the proliferation, by the axis of evils, that is China, North Korea, and Pakistan. That whatever they are doing, covertly in the nuclear proliferation, that should be held. They should be held liable for it. Then, of course, it can be taken up there. Otherwise, it may not be. It will be difficult to prove that yes, this is for the nuclear proliferation. So, good thing that the India has got a hold onto this machine. Now, it will need many explanations from the Pakistani agency as to where it is going to be used for, because they will have a tough time to explain. Right now, automobile sector as an explanation will not stand the scrutiny. So, let us have more explanation from Pakistani agency, and we will see.
Right. Mijil Katuj, let me quickly bring you in here. There are eyebrows raised, and now many are wondering what really are China and Pakistan up to. Is an expansion of the nuclear arsenal being facilitated by China of Pakistan?
Thank you, Uday. Uday, India is cognizant of the China-Pakistan nexus, the strategic nexus, which has been taking place now for decades. It is not a new phenomenon. And Pakistan's nuclear program, as well as its missile program, has been supported by China in a very big way. Now, most of the support which China has given has been outside the ambit of treaties. Like they have violated treaties while giving them their support. The US was cognizant of this fact, but I think they just let it lie. It suited their interests at that point of time. Now, this strategic nexus between Pakistan and China is not going to go away, which is why I'm very glad that the Indian agencies were on top of the matter and we apprehended this ship. Captain Jha has very rightly put out that we may not be able to prove the case, but the very fact that we have got hold of the ship, I think that is a very important achievement. And now that the onus of proof rests on Pakistan, they will have to actually try to convince the world that what they were carrying out was an innocent trading activity, which obviously is not the case. Just one or two more points. As far as China is concerned, Pakistan becomes very important for them on two particular counts. One is the geographic location of Pakistan adjacent to the Gulf. Now that makes Pakistan the linchpin as far as China is concerned to access the energy-rich Gulf region. That is one. And number two, China is trying to project its naval power today in the Indian Ocean. Now, here, Pakistan will play a very, very important role. So, when we combine these two factors, this is what Pakistan means to China. That even despite the economic, the economic slowdown in Pakistan, where they're running into very serious difficulties, despite the fact that in Pakistan, Chinese engineers have been targeted, their personnel have been targeted, China is not going to let go. Their strategic interests, their interests are very deeply tied in with what Pakistan can in the future deliver to them, which is why they are helping Pakistan. The last point in this, which I want to make, at least apprise your viewers, when you're looking at China and India relations, for a very long time, China has been using Pakistan to hit India so that they don't have to fight India directly. So basically, Pakistan is being used as a tool to engage India and to keep India confined to the South Asian region. The fact that India is breaking out is not to the liking of either China or Pakistan. But then that is the way international relations will continue. China and Pakistan will continue their efforts. But I think India is strong enough now. We'll take them on. And while it may be difficult to prove the case in the Security Council, I think enough pressure has been applied on Pakistan. They'll be extra careful in future. Uday.
All right. Let me also go across to Pathikrit Pine now. Pathikrit, what do you make of this Pakistan denial? Is it downright bizarre that they are claiming now that this is actually meant for some private company in Karachi? Will that explanation cut any ice, Pathikrit? And what do you make of what really was being planned and now has been busted and intercepted in this manner?
Uday, first of all, these are standard lies by Pakistan that these are for some other purpose, because Pakistan is not known for its industrial scale capacity for global exports, that they would require such machines for different kinds of industrial products, whether it is intermediary or final products. So these are standard lies and these are not new. For example, in 2020, similar autoclaves, which has been mentioned before, were falsely projected as industrial dryers, and they were being shipped to Pakistan. They were intercepted in a similar manner in India. In 2022, there's a company called Cosmos Engineering. To that organization, there were thermoelectric instruments which were similarly made in Italy, were being shipped by China. They were intercepted. And these basically fall under something called SCOMET, which is special chemicals, organisms, materials, equipment, and technology. And there are severe restrictions on their, export or trade because of their potential use in case of, development of missiles and nuclear material. But China has been doing it. In 1982, it was for the first time China actually shipped to Pakistan through a C-130 plane of Pakistan, which brought quite a bit of weapons-grade uranium for 2 nuclear bombs. But what's surprising, as was mentioned by Ambassador Mukherjee, that now they have become a little more brazen, that they're using the sea route to do these things. And let me tell you, in June 2023, there are 3 organizations of China which were blacklisted by US Bureau of Industry for exactly this reason. And these organizations were General Technology, which were supplying the autoclaves, Beijing Liu Technology Development, and Qiangzhou UTech Composite Development Organization. It's very similar work they were doing. It's surprising that a country with so much of internal security and economic challenges that they beg for a few $1 billion from IMF and World Bank. There's so much of political instability. It's a power surplus nation because the price at which power is supplied in Pakistan, very few can afford. In that kind of a situation, China is investing billions of dollars for setting up nuclear power plants. There are 2 1,000 megawatt facilities coming up in Karachi. There are 4 3,000 megawatt facilities, 300 megawatts facility, which means 1,200 megawatt in totality, coming up in Chashma, and these are all on loans. So there are question marks, and it's not something which is happening for the first time. Throughout the 1980s, these kind of machines have been supplied Unfortunately, in the 1970s and 80s, when these things were happening, in some or the other way, the Western world turned a blind eye to it. So, today, even if these machines are not being given, I think Pakistan has developed a certain kind of capability, which is only being furthered, which can only mean one thing, that maybe in the next 5 years or 10 years, China is projecting and expecting a major conflict where Pakistan would be used as a vassal state, as a flanker for countering, if there are challenges thrown to China by Quad or other dispensations or by United States. And given the fluidity of situation in Middle East, given the stranglehold that China is trying to project, put the whole world in various ways, I think this is a very, very disturbing news. And, it also once again proves to and gives vindication that I think India, beyond a point, should give up its one China policy. And the way China has used Pakistan, or is preparing Pakistan for probably a much bigger challenge in future, in spite of the fact that this state is completely unstable. China doesn't care even perhaps if these are going to the hands of jihadis. I think beyond a point, I think India, what it has done rightfully by engaging with Philippines or Vietnam for Akash and BrahMos, I think there is no reason why in the future, if not now, we should engage with Taiwan for defense cooperation and give them certain kind of capabilities. I might sound politically incorrect, diplomatically incorrect, but that is what you should do with a country like China, given what they have done with Pakistan in terms of giving them all kinds of dangerous weapon systems, which can only create more instability in the whole of South Asia. My last point, Uday, Pakistan has nothing to lose. It is completely a failed state, and China wants a war, if at all it happens in future, which will be fought on behalf of China, to be fought somewhere else, because Pakistan is geographically pretty distant from China. So I think if you look at the larger game plan, I think we, along with whatever India is doing, which is great in terms of developing economic resilience, developing military modernization and industrial resilience and industrial capability, I think we should extend our cooperation with some of the countries, especially Taiwan, because that is perhaps the only language which China would understand in future. Back to you then.
Yes, let me in fact quickly take that across back to Ambassador Bhashpati Mukherjee. Now, Ambassador Mukherjee, how can this be taken up by India at any international fora? And also, what do you believe what plans are afoot, which we've got an idea of now between Pakistan and China?
Well, I had already suggested in my last intervention that we take up this matter in the UN Security Council, because it has direct implications for us. In an earlier TV program in your channel about a couple of days ago, we had a full discussion, and I had advocated after the interview with the Taiwanese foreign minister, if you recall, Uday, that we should build up much stronger business ties and commercial relations with Taiwan. This would particularly help us with regard to the joint manufacture of semiconductors, in which Taiwan definitely has the edge. I had also made the point that in case the Chinese threaten the Straits of Taiwan and Taiwan, this is an issue which concerns most immediately the United States of America, which is committed to the defense of Taiwan, and the United States of America is committed to a one China policy at the same time, which is very interesting, just as India. The defense of Taiwan is the direct responsibility of the United States, and an attack on Taiwan, an overwhelming attack on Taiwan by the People's Republic of China, which is likely to succeed, would mean, I had said at that time, that we may be looking at the beginning of World War III. As far as China using Pakistan as a proxy state is concerned, this game has been going on for a long time. In fact, I would go further and I would say that the very creation of Pakistan by the United Kingdom was an effort to impede for eternity India's rise as a great power by keeping perpetually on India's side a thorn like Pakistan, which would keep it confined to its immediate neighborhood. That has not worked. Pakistan is a failed state. The weapons and the weapon systems that are being poured into Pakistan are finding themselves in different destinations. In Afghanistan, Pakistan has been challenged by Iran. There are others who are equally challenged by the distribution of dangerous weapon systems going into a highly unstable state and falling into the hands of jihadis. Uh, Falling into the hands of jihadis may not be also in the interest of China, which has restless Muslim provinces inside its own territory. So beyond the point, how much China is willing to risk in a war that it might be interested in, a war that Pakistan is sure to lose against India, is a matter of speculation by defense experts. But as a diplomat, I would say the following. First, that the defense of Taiwan is the direct responsibility of the United States. The building up of vigorous business commercial relationship with Taiwan is in India's direct national interest. We must be fully aware that the West and the United States will not come to our aid if there is an attack on us by China or by Pakistan. They may give us some weapons. We have to be prepared to defend our territory from the Chinese. They could attack us directly or they could attack us through Pakistan. They may not attack us through Pakistan because they know that we are in a position to defeat them resoundly. So they may try to continue with the policy of trying to do salami slicing of our territory, which has not worked either. So we have to watch and wait. But in my perspective, right now, I do not see an imminent attack on Taiwan by the PRC. I do see much benefit in continuing our relationship with the Quad and United States, while being fully aware that when we are attacked, we will go it alone and we will win it alone, as we always have, because India has never been aided by anybody in its struggle against its two hostile neighbors, one of whom is larger than us, but we have full confidence in our armed forces to look after our territorial integrity.
Yes, certainly. And do you believe that's something that India will do about raising this forward, Major General Katoch, now that we have stumbled upon this? Is that something that you believe the world will take attention of as well? Or will they look away as they have done on some occasions in the past? Major General Katoch.
Uday, when I look at this particular situation, you see the Western powers are going to be impacted in the Indian Ocean. I think it'll be very difficult for the West now to look away, especially for the Americans to look away, seeing as what is happening in the South China Sea and the threat, as Ambassador Mukherjee has so rightly enunciated, which is which they have, the cross-strait crisis which may occur on Taiwan. So the Americans are going to be a bit chary now about what Pakistan is doing. To what extent they will go, I'm not really sure. But the point is, once we take this up, they are going to listen. But more importantly, once we take it up, the onus to prove that they are the aggrieved party, that will lie on Pakistan, and the defense which they are going to pick up, which they are going to give up, as Captain Jha has enumerated a bit earlier, that this instrument is not used for car manufacture. So they've given a very weak excuse, which I think they've gone horribly wrong initially itself. So for them to justify this particular equipment coming to their shores is going to be difficult. I think the West is cognizant of Chinese efforts both in the South China Sea, in the Indian Ocean, and in the broader Indo-Pacific. When Ambassador Mukherjee made a statement that India will have to fight its wars alone, that is correct. So any land conflict which takes place, it is going to be our battle. At the maximum, perhaps you may get intelligence or something like that from the US, but it's going to be our battle, and we are quite prepared for that battle, and we will win it. But if there's going to be a conflict in the Indian Ocean, then I'm afraid all of us are going to get together. It is not going to be an isolated battle, because the West is going to be directly affected. For the West to lose Taiwan to the Chinese gives the Chinese direct access to the Pacific. Then they will have to start guarding their own coastlines. At the moment, the chain is there in Taiwan. So in American interest, I think they will be conscious of what lies in their interest, which any country will be. And the Indian, we've got the first movers advantage. We took the ship. And I think that is a very important step. It speaks very highly of our intelligence agencies, of the information which we have gathered, and of our ability to have actually got that ship and got hold of it. But I don't think either the Chinese or the Pakistanis anticipated this particular move. So we have the first mover's advantage. Now let the other party start defending. It's up to them. But as far as Pakistan is concerned, I think we have already ignited necessary flames to show that both China and Pakistan are carrying out an illegal nexus. That's the word. You see, it's outside what the nuclear supplies group is doing. It's outside what the missile technology control regime is doing. So all those activities are illegal. And I think it is high time that the world took notice of it. This time I have a feeling the US and the West will take note of it. Uday.
All right, let's leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.